We see in this too the attribute of a benefactor providing the needs of the young child before it becomes aware that it even has any needs. This is a graceful mercy that comes to the creature continually without the creature having to ask for it. It is an eternal grace and a continuous grace. We have two attributes that are attributes of the divine supreme being. One, bringing to the mind the social image of man and his role as a provider and benefactor. The second one, so the first one is Ar-Rahman. The second one, Ar-Rahim, bringing to mind the role of the woman as one who watches over and cares for the tender life, gives it its needs, and protects it from suffering. End quote, Imam W. Dean Muhammad. Now, I have 5 minutes here before my conclusion, so let's go quickly to the third one, Al-Malik. All right, chapter 3, verse 26. Allahumma, Malik al-Mulki, tu'ti al-mulka man tasha'u, وتنزع الملك مما تشاء ممن تشاء وتعز من تشاء وتذل من تشاء بيدك الخير بيدك الخير إنك على كل شيء قدير. Say, O Allah, Lord of power, Malik, and rule, Malik al-Mulk. Thou gives power, al-Mulk, to whom thou please, and thou strip of power to whom thou please. Thou endure with honor whom thou please, and thou brings low whom thou please. In thy controls, in thy hand, his controls, Allah's controls, in thy hand or in thy authority, in thy control, goods. Verily of all things, thou hast power. Now, concluding this, Imam Muhammad on Malik, quoting page 27, same book, the Green Book, commentary on selected verses of the Holy Quran. And side note, still waiting. They have to, the brothers who are working on this, waiting on, or trying, not waiting, but working on getting another publisher. Okay. Imam Muhammad, page 27, speaking on Al-Malik, Malik, quoting from chapter 1, verse 4. Maliki Yawmiddin, Imam. You are claiming that you are the only begotten. He's your Lord to the exclusion of others, and you're presenting him all over again and saying he was too harsh. Has to come. You say this so-called son of his is a God who is king and loving. No, you made all these mistakes, and you speak of the king of Israel, not the king of any other people, and everybody's going to have to recognize their king and bring their treasures and put them at the feet of their king. This is the Bible. It is not going to be your king. This is going to be the only king. This God we're talking about here, who's being revealed all over again, the true identity is being revealed. He's going to be the only king. This is in the Quran now. He's going to be the only king on the day of judgment. Some translators say the sole master on the day of judgment. He's going to be the master on the day of judgment or the day of religion. And that is what the Quran is doing. It is manifesting religion and the true picture. And when that true picture is established, that is going to be the judgment day for all involved. Thank you all very much for joining us on this Wednesday. I have all of the references I've shared with you, so I made this a little short, cut it short, because I knew it was too much information to give you for the research I did. So thank you again, Sister Fitcher, and all of you all who are joining us on Wednesday. Please don't go anywhere. We will now hear from our convener, my friend, Imam Dr. Bashir Ali regarding the upcoming month of Ramadan. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, Brother Imam. Thank you so much for joining us today. Imam Bashir, are you on the line?
Yes, ma'am. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Thank you, Brother Imam Bashir, for taking the time to join us on this Wednesday. I've invited you here because there's a vision around when we start the fast of Ramadan. And I often get texts, emails, calls, and I thought that the best way to clarify and to give right guidance is because I know that the conveners, the national conveners, are following a process that Imam Muhammad, may he be in the highest place in paradise, provided. So, Imam Bashir, can you certainly I'm sure everyone on the line know who you are, but if you could just quickly give us a brief description of the national conveners and the areas that they cover and the process that would be followed.
Yes, ma'am. Before I start, I want to thank Allah for the opportunity to speak to radio. My dear brother and friend Imam Yahya Abdullah for his wonderful presentation. He's one of our great scholars and teachers, and we're blessed to have him in our community. And blessed, we thank Allah for his great insights. Once again, I want to thank you as well for all the hard work you put in all the time behind the scenes. A lot of people Allah for you and your leadership on an ongoing basis, and we thank Allah for the opportunity to fast during this holy month of Ramadan. And with that being said, praise be to Allah. Yes, the conveners of Imams in association with the community of Imams, Dean Muhammad, has developed a process in line with Imam Muhammad's directions and guidance. We know as believers in Al-Islam that fasting is prescribed for us during the month of Ramadan. According to the tradition of our prophet, we begin and end the sighting with the sighting of the new moon, we call Hilal. And in line with this tradition, our community has developed a process by which we communicate that sighting to the believers and to our entire community. In that context, we know as believers that we go out and look at the moon, look for the moon on the 29th day to that. In that context, all throughout the world for the moon. Inshallah, the moon, then we know then the starts. We do, however, sometimes you can and sometimes you can't on that 29th day or the 30th night, really, of the month of Shaban. If we do see it, we start the month of fasting the next day. If we don't see it, we wait till the following day to start the fast. It's important to understand that in line with the tradition of the prophet, that we have a naked eye sighting, or we sight the moon with a naked. So in conjunction with that, we've created with imams in our community in 2015, we took leadership meeting, tried to create a by which we would come information to our community. So I will share with you our process, and then inshallah, please let's have a discussion to make sure we clearly understand, and if there's any questions, we will be more than happy to follow up with any questions you may have relative to the process. So we go out, we try to sight the moon with our naked eye. Once that sighting has taken place, then we communicate it to someone in our community of known credible to a section convener, that information to a section convener, and we post that information on our community website. Now, let me repeat it and try to clearly delineate why we do it the way we do it. We have created a website for our community. The website information is iwdmcommunity.com, iwdmcommunity.com. And the purpose of the website really is to make sure that every individual in our community, including our leaders as well as every believer, can have access to the same of activities in our community. When we have individuals trying to sight the moon, we have groups trying to sight the moon, we have organizations within our community trying to sight the moon. And so in that context, we just try to gather the information from each group and or individual, and we try to collect that information that we all can start our fast at the same time. Now, the challenge that we have, and I'll try to be very brief and concise in describing the challenge. We are a continental United States of 50 states, and we operate within 3 different time zones. So from the East Coast to the West Coast is a 3-hour span. In that span, doing at any point in that, we do know from science and from the scientists' projections that are alert that evening to sighting the moon. Give special focus and special attention to those individuals in those areas, and we wait, particularly if it's in the West Coast, we have to wait probably till later in the evening to see if the moon is sighted. We then create for ourselves a cutoff time of 12 midnight Eastern time by which we try to gather that information and communicate it to the community. So inshallah, to summarize our process, the imams of our community have taken shura in line with the thinking of our imam, and we have a naked eye sighting process by which we try to sight the moon, collect the information, communicate the information, and publish the information so that believers, masajid, and imams throughout our community can fast together if we choose to. We do recognize, however, that different communities may have different processes. In some cases, the moon may not be sighted in a reasonable period of time, so people on the East Coast may have to make a decision whether they're going to go forward or not with the sighting for that evening. And if not, they, alhamdulillah, if they didn't sight it by midnight, then alhamdulillah, they fast the following day. If it is sighted, then alhamdulillah, we all can fast at the same time if it is sighted in a reasonable period of time. So our challenge would be to communicate this information to our community. We will start Friday night, which is Friday night represents the 30th night of Shaban, or the ending of the 29th day. And we will seek to sight the moon. If it's sighted on Friday, we will fast on Saturday. The strongest possibility of the sighting, however, is not on Friday night, but on Saturday. So we will still go out Friday because it's the tradition to sight the moon Friday night, April 1st. Inshallah, if it's sighted, even though there's a slight possibility, if it is sighted, we will communicate that information and fasting will start on Saturday. The information will be posted on our website by midnight Friday. If we can't determine whether it's been credibly sighted or not, and that's a big challenge sometimes, because we want to make sure it's a credible sighting, people are good credibility, and we ask people to share with us their pictures, the location, and individual sighting the moon. That's the criteria we use. If we determine if it's a credible sighting, inshallah, then everyone can start fasting on Saturday. If that information is not determined by midnight on Friday for the East Coast, then inshallah, automatically the month of Shaban ends and Ramadan will start the following day on the first day of fasting. So that's approach it, and inshallah, everyone will have information about to make their decision as for this month of Ramadan.
Imam Bashir saying is that this process of sighting the moon on Friday, sunset, well, sighting the moon that evening after Maghrib, is that correct?
That's correct.
And so on Friday, the process will be, and you will, and I understood you to say that you check in at the three various times, the East Coast time, the Central time, and the Pacific time. So that's the East Coast, the Midwest, and then the West Coast. Is that correct? I want to just make sure I'm clear.
We have a team of people monitoring for that 3-hour window, all 3 hours.
Okay. Okay.
So we have a team of people monitoring, and we also have a number of efforts in our community. We have imams that get on a conference call that convey their information. We have the Al-Malik group that has their process. We have a number of groups in our community, and we have imams in the sections that go out and cite it as well. So we then try to coordinate and glean the information from all of the sources and communicate it back to our community.
So if for any, so let me just ask this question. So if for any reason, let's say on the East Coast, they did not see the moon, it doesn't end there. You still check with the Midwest, and then the last check would be with the West Coast where Imam Fahim is. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so you're saying that, go ahead, I apologize. Go ahead.
No, it was a tradition from our imam that we try to act as a united country. So we would then try to wait throughout the entire process from East Coast to West Coast, and obviously with the progression of the time, the West Coast is the last one to report in. We report before we make a determination.
And I understand that. And I'm really asking questions, not just for myself, but for the people.
Yes.
There's still almost 300 people on the line. So, and so the process is that even if the East Coast does identify, so let's say the East Coast does identify it and is able to submit a physical picture, do you still wait until the West Coast identifies it, or do you go forward with the information from the East Coast?
I will answer the question in theory and also then qualify it.
Okay, please.
Whenever it's cited, anywhere in the country, starting with the East Coast, it has been cited, period. Alhamdulillah. And so then we have a credible citing, and we will communicate that citing to the entire country. Due to the science and how the moon can be sighted, sometimes only have a greater probability for it to share. That's in the West and the Southwest, even though it's diminished, the odds of it being cited really low. However, we always open the possibility because of the tradition. And so the greatest possibility for it being cited on that night, if it can be cited, would be in the West Coast or in the Southwest. However, normal and general circumstances, whenever it's cited and wherever it's cited, anywhere in the country, starting with the East Coast, it's been cited and we communicate that.
Excellent. So I was just trying to make the distinction that it doesn't necessarily have to go through the 3 time zones if, in fact, it's a clear night and the moon can be sighted on the East Coast. Would begin because
Yes.
that would be a credible source. I was just difficult to see. I don't really understand all of the scientific processes, which means that, so this year, we probably will end up waiting until you hear from the West Coast, which would then place the information on the website by midnight, is what you're saying, on Friday evening.
Yes, ma'am.
So will the information be only if the moon has been sighted, or will there be other information saying the moon wasn't clearly sighted, and so therefore we won't begin fasting on Saturday? Does that mean that we automatically begin fasting on Sunday?
Yes, we will communicate both ways, if it has been cited or if it has not been cited. And obviously, if it has not been cited, then we automatically start fasting on Sunday.
Okay. So by 12 midnight, inshallah, can you give the website again, Imam Bashir?
Yes, ma'am. It's www.wdm.com. And inshallah, that's our website, general information that we try to share with our community and connecting with various masajid as well as the other institutions of our community as well.
And so by midnight, Friday night, there will be a message on the website that will let everyone know whether we will begin fasting on Saturday. In addition to, you should be able to also call the local masjids, and because they will have the information as well. If you're more comfortable calling your local masjid, then do that. But if you are if we're trying to fast as a community and following the process that was established, then by 12 midnight, we should be able to go to the convener's website and know whether or not we will be fasting Saturday morning. There should be no question.
Yes, and let me emphasize the point you just made.
Please.
The information we provide is for the entire community.
Mm-hmm.
Please also keep in mind that different masajid may also have policies or processes in which they have already determined their mode of how they want to communicate in their community. So please also honor and respect that. So if they want you to call, they may have a number for you to call. They may have a website locally for you to find the information as well. We provide the information on behalf of the whole community to everyone in the time. But please also honor and respect whatever that your local community has put in place as well.
And I think that's important, because what we're not doing is dictating what people should do. That is certainly not the intention of our conversation. The reason why you were invited, Imam, because you're right. Local may follow a different process. And it's a question process. The question for me is that I want to follow the process that's been established in our community. Questions that come to me, Imam Bashir, are from people in our community, that call me and say, when is Ramadan going to begin? We're always so confused, so divided each year. And I want you just need to know the process you want to follow. And is that correct, Imam Bashir? Do you agree with
Yes.
that information?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. And let me say this, and I know you are aware of Nation, and you have a number of people that read your information, and we were contacted by several groups, highly qualified groups from outside of this community that read the information and were very impressed, and let know that they have been promoting our process around the world for years, and when they saw our process, they were very elated. And they said, this is the Sunnah of the Prophet, and we all should be proud of it. So our process has been recognized by others outside of this community, a world-class process, and it's based on Sunnah and just communicating it to the widest possible within our community and around the world. So our website is open to anyone in the world that wants to view it as well.
So that very clear. I want to just, before we close, Brother Imam Bashir, in dua, I want to just say that Study al-Islam will be every day at 10 o'clock. Tomorrow, Imam Wazir will be our speaker, and he will continue with what is nutritional eating during the holy month of Ramadan. I want to finally say this is with no intention, no ill intent towards anyone or any community. Everyone should lead with the best intention of starting Ramadan. And this conversation is for the affected me in our community who wants to know what is the process we're following, how can we all start together, and that is the sole purpose of inviting you here, Brother Imam Bashir. I really appreciate time making it very clear as the process that we're using in order to start our Ramadan. And inshallah, we're going to hold you to the fire that on Friday at 12 midnight, that that information up about us starting. And so you can have the last word, and then please close us with the dua for Ramadan.
Yes, ma'am. For the opportunity, we thank Allah. We thank our beautiful brother Imam Yahya Abdullah for his wonderful comments and great insights, and we also thank him for his efforts in working with the imams to help cite the moon. Now, Yahya heads a number of imams, gets on a conference call, and they try to determine this same information, and we take their information, all the other information we collect, to communicate it to the community. So say this before I close out, that just keep in mind, if sometimes we're in a process of formatting the communication. So starting at midnight, we try to publish at midnight. Sometimes it's a couple of minutes after midnight, so be patient. So if you right at midnight, wait 5 minutes, and inshallah, we should have it posted, because it's a process by which we gather information, collect pictures, collect reference information, and publish it all in a timely fashion. So please be patient if it's not directly at midnight, but we try to make sure that we get as close to midnight as we possibly can. And we thank you for your leadership efforts as well.
Brother Imam, let me just ask this one last question. Is there plans to get a telephone call, a telephone number at some point where people can call in and hear this information as well, or will it just be on the website?
It'll be on the website because, as you know, with
Okay.
phone calls, the lines can get clogged up if you're dealing with hundreds of calls throughout the country. So the website is the most and clear at this particular point. We do have
Okay.
a conference call with our imams that they call. They try to work that out, and then we take that information and communicate what they determine as well. But even that can get cluttered from time to time. So if we open it, the entire community, it would be unwieldy to it. So at this time, we use the website as our mechanism.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Let me just say this to you. We at we have a recorded message that the night of Ramadan. So I want to just mention that there are how many conveners in our community? How many regions are covered?
7 regions or 7 sections.
Regions.
Mm-hmm.
I think in 2022 that they should have some kind of a pre-recording that people can have 7 telephone numbers. I can't imagine that they don't have a pre-recording for easy access for to call one of them to find out whether or not our community and we're going to begin. So I just want to make that recommendation to you, Bashir, that you will consider that. And even if it's not all 7, but maybe 3, you know, but there should be, even in the times of the Jetsons, people going to Mars, there be some telephone numbers we can give out to the community, can't get on the website, that they can call, and that the message is consistent, that this is a pre-recording. Our community will begin fasting on such and such a time, or we will have, the moon was not sighted, please call it. Some kind of pre-recording, Brother Imam. We got to get you all to step up to modern times.
Well, thank you so much, my dear sister. I will humbly accept. Thank you for your great suggestion. I will say this, though. You know, telephone communications is kind of Facebook and texting, and so we do have other social media mechanisms by which we also communicated via Facebook and texting and emailing. So we email, we text, we Facebook, as well as post it on the website. But in light of your suggestion, we will also do a recording this year on our website to talk to the people and let them know.
Be good, because we do also have a very large senior community, and many of them depend on the phone. So even, Brother Imam, if you can identify 1 or 2 messages, maybe 1 in the East Coast, 1 in the Pacific Coast, in Central, and 1 in the Pacific, where the message can be the same, and we could give out the telephone number on Study Al-Islam for people to call and get the message for those who cannot get on the website. For those who cannot get on the website. And we appreciate that you're doing. And thank you so much. I really do. This is not to put you on the spot.
Sister, that is an excellent idea, and I will coordinate with you personally to make that happen.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Yes.
So now if you could close us in a dua. Thank you, Brother Imam Bashir. No, really, thank you very much for all that the conveners do. And that, but so that we can find a way forward and answer the questions of the people who are asking. That's all we want to do.
Yes,
to service the community.
And thank you so much. And we'll close out with a dua.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, enter this month of Ramadan, purify our hearts, our souls, and our intentions. Bring us clarity on our direction and purpose. Guide our actions to serve your will and connect our hearts in the spirit of this theme. Nastaghfirullah, nastaghfirullah, nastaghfirullah. Allahumma anta salamu wa minka salamu wa tabarakta yada jalalil wal ikram. Wa rabbana taqabbal du'a. O Allah, thou art the author of peace. From thou comes the peace. Blessed art thou, the Most High, Lord of glory and honor. Please accept our dua. Ameen.
Ameen. Again, thank you, Brother Imam Bashir. I truly appreciate everything that you do. And I know this community. Send our salams to the conveners. And may Allah protect you. And inshallah, we'll see you tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum.